My name is Lukas. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Hemotune, and we are revolutionizing blood purification. Think about it. We are treating disease usually by adding stuff to the body. And typically, inside the body, these drugs, they bind to a substance and they interrupt biological pathways. But by adding things to the body, this leads to a lot of side effects, off-target effects, toxicity, and many drugs, they never make it to the market because they are so toxic. So we are turning this concept around. Instead of adding something to your body, we are very precisely removing things to treat disease. So we are a Swiss-based medical device company. We were founded in 2017 as a spin-off from the ETH Zurich. We are 25 people, and we have developed the nice blood purification machine that you see on the picture. We are currently gathering the final preclinical data, and we will start our clinical study in our first indication, sepsis, next year. And I will just show you how our technology works.
Sepsis happens when an infection in or on the body triggers a life-threatening, misguided immune response. Because 1 in 5 of all global deaths are sepsis-related, and almost 50 million people suffer from sepsis every year, it was declared a global health priority by the World Health Organization. To treat sepsis and other bloodborne diseases, Hemotune has developed a disruptive blood purification platform for the use in intensive care units. In a device similar to a dialysis machine, nano-engineered sorbent beads remove disease-related compounds. The beads contain a magnetic core, a non-sticky polymer coating, and affinity binders that attach to the desired targets. By combining different beads, Hemotune is able to perform precision medicine multi-target interventions, which would not be possible by traditional blood purification or through the use of drugs. With a size 300 times smaller than a red blood cell, the beads selectively attach only to the target compounds. While passing through a magnetic filter, beads and bound targets are highly efficiently removed, and the purified blood is returned to the patient without containing any beads. Hemotune's goal is to restore adequate immune function in sepsis and improve patient outcomes.
So basically, I'm sure you're familiar with dialysis. Our machine is very similar to a dialysis machine, but what is really the difference is that we can remove very selectively large biomolecules that have really like biological action and not only like uremic toxins that dialysis machines remove. And the system comprises of 3 components. We have the device that we put into the hospitals. For each treatment, you then equip the device with a tubing kit that is sterile, that is in blood contact. And for each treatment or also indication that we tackle, we have a specific mixture of magnetic particles that specifically removes certain disease-related compounds. And it's a platform technology. By exchanging the binding molecules on the beads, we can fine-tune it basically to different diseases. But the first indication, you heard it in the video, is sepsis. Sepsis is devastating, affects 50 million people, has a mortality rate for septic shock between 30% and 50%. And it's also extremely expensive. Actually, sepsis costs account for 0.33% of global GDP. So it's huge cost. And currently, there is no treatment available that really addresses the underlying immune problem of sepsis. So sepsis is a misguided immune response, and in the past, it was always seen as an overreacting immune system. So the strategy was to treat it by dampening the immune response. However, in the last year, the black line is the overall mortality of those patients in the hospital. And it stayed rather constant at close to 50%. But you will notice that the early mortality went down dramatically and it was replaced by late mortality. What does that mean? People don't die anymore after 2-3 days on the intensive care unit. They die after 2-3 weeks. I'm sure you're familiar with COVID, where it was really very obvious that those critically ill patients, they stay very long on the ICU, and it's a huge problem. And this is exactly what we want to tackle. Basically, we have teamed up with key opinion leaders in sepsis, in immunology, and also in diagnostics, and have developed a new intervention strategy that follows the immunological pathway of sepsis. And if you follow the graph from left to right, it's the time, and on the y-axis you have actually the immune system. And you have an infection, your immune system starts with an inflammation, so an activated immune state, and few patients actually die in that stage. More than 90%, they are then developing a counterbalancing immunosuppression. And of those, about 2/3, they stay persistently immunosuppressed. That means the immune system doesn't work anymore at all. And if you're on this trajectory, you're very prone for secondary infections, you're staying on the ICU for a very long time, and you're also most likely to die, and you're also the most expensive patient. So we are selecting those patients based on a biomarker, and we start removing the molecules that are blocking your immune system from working. And by that, we aim to shorten the length of stay in the ICU and also reduce mortality and cost. I said it before, it's a huge market opportunity. 1 day in ICU is about $16,000 in the US. In Europe, in Switzerland, it's about half of that, but still, it's a huge amount of cost. And those patients, they stay very long in the ICU. And by helping those patients, we can also help the global healthcare systems. We can get the healthcare systems also ready for new pandemics and also for the rising antimicrobial resistance crisis. And on the side also make a lot of money. So as I said, we are currently in the final verification of the technology. So we have the device, we have done a lot of preclinical testing. We will start our approval study in the clinics next year, first in Switzerland, then in Europe, and we plan to get market approval in 2026, and we will then expand also to the US. We have a great interdisciplinary team. I have founded a company together with Carlos, who's an immunologist, who's taking care of the magnetic particles. Jean-Claude was joining us from Roche. He developed the device and the disposable. Ursina is an expert in medical device and pharma regulatory, which is a key for such a very novel technology. And Stephanie, she has a huge amount of experience in clinical trials in medical devices. And also in the board, for us it was very important to have a diverse board, because basically we are solving a biotech problem through a medical device. And we combine also in the board experts from big pharma. Marcus, he led the Novartis venture fund in the US. Perry, he led the corporate venture fund of Philips. And we combine pharma, medtech, and we also combine corporate with startup, with Didier that built up his own company and also brought it to the stock market. So we are just about to close our next financing round, and if you're interested, I'm very happy to be contacted by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.